How's it going, crew? This is Happy Days and welcome to Hearthstone. So basically I've been playing a lot of Constructed lately and I'm really getting into it at the moment. I've sort of really want to get to Legend, and I find once I want to do something I really work hard at it. I'm finding that I really favour the Mage class, and I've been playing it off and on ever since I started playing Hearthstone quite a while ago now. I just wanted to run you through the deck that I'm using at the moment, and then I'll play a few games and show you how it works. I'm just refining it each match. I sort of play a few matches, and then when I come up against a class where something's not quite working, I look at tweaking that minion. So I've got the core of it sort of working, and then, just tweaking cards here and there. It came from... I played against a lot of rush sort of decks, and I thought, Mage, I typically didn't play mages like that. I played them really slowly, very control style. And since Naxxramas, I've been playing around with Mad Scientist a bit, and just really enjoying using secrets. So it's kind of been evolving from there a bit. So basically, I'll run you through it. Just having a quick look at the curve, you can see that it's heavily based on the mid to early game. And I'm basing the early game around having usually more often than not, I've got a card to play first turn. So I'm using 2 Leper Gnomes paired with 2 Undertakers. And I usually don't expect the Undertaker to survive much past turn 2 or 3, but it just helps establish that early board control. And that leads into Frostbolt, which, if I've got an opportunity to take out a 2 or 3 HP minion second turn, and I haven't got any alternatives, occasionally I'll do that. Especially if I don't get a turn 1 and I have to switch to a defensive game. I didn't have Swampoos in my deck originally, but after playing a few Warriors and Rogues, and Paladins for that matter, I realised that this fast sort of deck was having trouble when a weapon came out, because you can't remove, board control is pretty easy with this deck, but when you run into a weapon, it's a bit more difficult. So just having the Ooze there just gives you some versatility and the option. Thelnos, I got it in a pack, I didn't have to craft it, and it's been a pretty useful minion. Most of the time I just use it for cycling, and by cycling I mean I'm more than happy just to play it. It's usually a high priority target, so it acts as a bit of a decoy a lot too, and you get the death rattle off it, which has synergy with Undertaker as well. Now my 2 and 3 cost minions, I'm very open to feedback on these. I'm just playing around with 2 and 3s at the moment. I'm sort of going for the style where I can control the board very easily at the start. So I put in a Direwolf Alpha. It's usually a fairly high priority target, and it can take out most minions on turn 3 that only have 2 life by itself. So I've also got Knife Juggler. The dagger ability can be useful for things like 1 HP minions and Divine Shields. I used to have 2 Loot Hoarders, but I played around with adding a Sludge Belcher just for a 5th turn play. So Loot Hoarder again, Death Rattle, synergy with Undertaker and card draw. The 2 Mad Scientists. Now it's not as if I play a lot of secrets, but it just helps speed up that process. And moving into the secrets I play, I'm playing 2 counter spells and 2 mirror entities. I'm finding I used to not play mirror entity because everyone expects it coming. But I find if you get Kirin Mage and Mirror Entity Counterspell turn 3, it gives you a lot of tempo, and I find that's what this deck's about. Just getting that tempo straight away and holding on to it. I've got 1 Harvest Golem, again Death Rattle, and also for its respawn ability, so it makes it quite a durable minion. I've been playing around with this card slot here. I'm using Blade Master at the moment. But I am looking at changing it. I use it because of its 4 attack, and it's very effective against pre-stacks. It can't be Holy Smited, and it can't be Shadow Worded. Also, it's got decent attack for a turn 3 play. 2 Kirin Tor mages, decent by themselves, and it's another option to get secrets happening early. So between Mad Scientist and Kirin Tors, you usually can get your secrets out early. Shattered Sun Cleric just gives you a bit of flexibility to sometimes buff a minion above dying range. I've also used it to buff Direwolf a few times to get it up to 3/3. I used to only run 1 Fireball, but I'm finding 2 just gives me a bit of flexibility with finishing. And I have no hesitation fireballing on turn 4 if a large minion comes out, like a Yeti or a Water Elemental, even a Sludge Belcher on turn 5. So I'm finding it's a good tempo card if you don't have anything else. Polymorph for the same reason, and if it doesn't get played on turn 4, I usually hold off and wait for a big legendary minion or a Sunwalker or something like that. Yetis, useful turn 4 and also very useful against priests. It can survive Flame Strike. It can survive Swipe. So it's very versatile against a lot of classes. Sludge Belcher, just to put a bit of slowdown against rush decks, and especially if I don't get what I need early on. It can slow decks down by turn 5. And I've just got a Flame Strike for a bit of a board wipe. If I do happen to get wiped myself, if my counter spells happen not to come out in time, I can get control back by turn 7. I'm finding this deck does quite well against most classes. It's having some trouble against Rogue because it spams spells, which almost makes counterspell useless against it. Most often I'm just countering like a sap or like a backstab, which is not that fantastic. And also against Control Warrior, I'm having a lot of trouble too. And it's just a matter of maybe I'll need to make 2 decks and possibly, depending what level I am in Constructed, playing a more anti-rogue warrior type. So that's the draft anyway. It's still under a lot of changes. I'm constantly changing the 2 and 3 mana minions. Especially, I'm looking at Injured Blade Master here. I used to have 2 Harvest Golems, but I find that only having the 2 attack hurts its tempo a bit. Good for keeping board control, but the Loot Hoarder is okay, but I do find that dies a little easily. And Direwolf, I'm not sure, could I be getting something a bit stronger for 2 mana? Most likely. And Zombie Chow I've only recently put in. I was looking for something a bit beefier than a Leponome and an option for turn 1. If I was playing a mage, this just gives me something I can play that won't die straight away. So yeah, so that's the deck. It's been doing pretty well. I'm currently ranked 11, and that's up from 17 recently. I've only just started making a push to get into the higher ranks of Constructed. I have quite a few legendaries I could be putting in here. I just don't. So I'll give you a quick look at what I've got. I've got Antonidas. So that's something I could put in. The only issue would be is I'm not very spell heavy in this deck. Enough where it could get use, and it is a possible something I could substitute. I could maybe get rid of 1 Yeti and put Antonidas in. Also, I've got Kel'Thuzad, Alexstrasza, and Firelord. The reason I'm not using Alexstrasza is I find usually if I win, I'm normally still on full health most of the time, or close enough. And by the time I would play Alexstrasza, my opponent's normally under 15 by then anyway. Firelord's something I could put in, because usually by turn 8 I'm running a bit out of cards to play, so that's a choice. Kel'Thuzad would probably work good with this deck and be a removal sort of target. I've also got Can, do you say it? I've got Can, which is another possibility, but I guess it's just like a 2-for-1 Yeti. So, and I think I've got... I've been considering a Faceless in the deck as well, which might be a possibility. I've heard good things about Lotheb, especially against other casters. It'd slow Rogue right down. And I've been considering Spectral Knights after playing a few casters that absolutely obliterated all my minions. So it's something I could be considering too. I've also got Sylvanas. No, I didn't make it. I just happened to draft not draft, I just got it out of card pack, luckily. And Black Knight, which is one of the first legendaries I made. I just don't find, at the level I'm at, Taunt is an issue. So it's just sitting in my hand at the moment. Anyway, that's the deck. So basically, next video I'll have a few matches and I'll show you how it works. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and please leave a comment if you've got any suggestions for this. I'm just having a bit of trouble breaking rank 11 at the moment with it. No class in particular. Most losses are coming down to like we're both on very low health and it's just whoever had the next turns won. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the match.